Bonsoir ouvri barrière. On l'autre fois encore, nous entrer la caillou. Et pour une chose spéciale, j'en ai toujours fait, nous avons ensemble avec nous des trois Haitian American qui sont candidats pour représenter la communauté noire dans l'élection qui va venir là 23 août et puis dans l'élection générale là en novembre. C'est un honneur pour nous gagner ensemble avec moi. C'est un honneur tout pour nous gagner sur la plateforme là pour nous parler ensemble avec nous. Et par la communauté, à faire communauté à connaître qui sa plateforme yo a. What is it about? Qui ça yo même yo gen pour plan pour qui raison yo décider aller dans l'élection et nous tous connaissons que nous même dans la communauté a nous besoin de monde pour qui représente nous presque tout partout dans le monde entier. Et parce que nous kounya nous gagnons une occasion pour nous chita ensemble avec eux, pour nous poser questions, pour nous tendre yo, pour nous so we can see where they stand. Et puis ou même pour une chance pour prendre une décision en novembre et puis pour aider les candidats à avancer et au cas choisir qui est sauvé. Dans la description show, vous pouvez que nous mettons link campagne chaque candidat qui sur plateforme là ensemble avec nous. Ou même vous doit cliquer dans le link ça et puis si vous voulez donate ou à donate, si vous voulez volunteer ou à volunteer ensemble avec eux et tout si vous avez une question comme ça vous pouvez entrer en contact avec eux directement. Nous sommes supposés gagner presque 6 ou 8 candidats ensemble avec nous et nous connaissons les gens dans la campagne, ils sont occupés, ils sont busy en pile. So, pendant qu'il y a dans la campagne, si vous entrer, nous avons recevoir et puis nous avons continué. Show assez chaud pour lier ou qu'on qui j'en nous fait. Nous demandé tout le monde qui est en bas live là, sur en bas live nous, please be respectful. Respectez l'opinion de tout le monde parce que vous venez là pour partager ensemble avec nous. Et puis tout nous demandé pour partager chose ça ensemble avec le monde qui ne doit pas suivre show ou sinon qui pas connaît que ça a fait dans la communauté actuellement. Et puis après ça, nous avons gagné replay show ça qui est available tout que ou même ou ka partager avec n'importe l'autre monde pour aider candidat ça yo aller dans l'élection et puis ou même tout pour aider communauté à gens yo capable. Eh bien mes amis, nous pas prêter là en pile et nous pral introduire nos candidats yo et n'a fait ça bien vite. Bonsoir. N'a salué nous tous qui là sur plateforme là. Bon, messieurs dames, merci en pile parce que nous prenons temps nous pour nous entrer là. Nous gagnons JR ensemble avec nous. Nous gagnons Miss Bracy ensemble avec nous. Nous gagnons Miss Pierre ensemble avec nous et nous gagnons Mr. Damis qui ensemble avec nous. Nous prenons chaque candidat une opportunité pour y présenter tête. Nous avons chaque monde 3 minutes pour y présenter tête à la communauté noire, dire nous qui est yoye, qui ça y fait dans la communauté et puis qui sa plateforme yo about. 3 minutes là ne doit pas passer, mais n'a stick to 3 minutes si yo même yo ka ajouter après ça, n'a ba une chance pour yo ajouter après ça. Ladies first. So, on commence qui est là? Bon, il y a deux là, qui est-ce qui voulait commencer avant? Miss Heather ou Miss Bracy?
Levon doesn't speak Creole.
Levon doesn't speak Creole. Okay.
No.
Well, no problem. Your brother speaks Creole very well.
Thank you, Heather.
Wait a minute.
She did not mention that. Well, no problem. Hey, listen, I have a lot of my kids who don't speak Creole, so it's no big deal. All right, so we understand. So, Miss Levon, we have a mixed community. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the community. Tell us who you are, what you're about, and then we take it from there.
All right. Thank you so much. My name is Levon Bracy Davis. Thank you, Heather, for that clarification. I am right here in the heart of Central Florida. I am running for state representative for House District 40. District 40 is Ocoee, Pine Hills, Edgewater, Lockhart, and College Park. And I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to run and to put my name out there for public service. I'm running for several reasons, one of them being I have aging parents, and I believe that everybody and all Floridians should have the opportunity to have health care in the state of Florida. I also believe that all of our students should have the opportunity for wonderful education despite their zip code or despite their demographics or where they are from a socioeconomic perspective. I have the opportunity to be a past Department of Children and Families attorney, and I am also a community liaison for one of the flagship performing arts centers here in Central Florida, and it's one of the flagship performing arts centers in the country. I am on the board for Pace Center for Girls, which is a girls' school right here in Central Florida. I'm an advocate for the underserved, the underprivileged, the voiceless, the unrecognized, the forgotten. And there are some things that are concerning me in Tallahassee, and I would like to lend my voice to those concerns and issues, such as there is a affordable. Is that did you? Is that enough?
Your time's up. Even though I didn't display
Okay.
it, I appreciate it. I didn't display it, but I want to display it for the next person.
No
All right.
problem. No problem. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
No problem. Thank you, Miss Pierre.
Hi, okay. Well, good evening, audience. My name is Heather Pierre Joseph. I am running for Orange County Commission District 6. Orange County covers I-Drive, Tangelo, Metro West, parts of Pine Hills, Washington Shores, Richmond Heights, parts of Paramore. So it's an extremely large district. I am an immigrant. I immigrated to this country when I was very young. Some of the pivotal points of my life that I think District 6 lives 30% in poverty, and to be a voice for those and to raise some of the issues and to advocate for some of the constituents in those districts. I spent 16 years as an undocumented immigrant. I am a mother, I am a business owner, and even as a business owner, I realize some of the challenges that we face with receiving contracts. I know that a majority of our youth, these are some of the issues that are main focus, some of our youth, and we don't think about them, right? Because they can't vote with us. So my concern is for the youth from birth to 18 or even 25, because most of the youth who are in the juvenile justice system are youth that have been abused and have been neglected. And that is part of my main focus. And also the aging population. I have a daughter that's on disability. So in a nutshell, my platform is whatever concerns the constituency, I lend my voice to it. No longer can we continue to say, oh, I still have, okay, no longer can we continue to say, I don't vote on it. Yes, I may not vote on it, but if it affects the constituency, I have a responsibility as a leader to lend my voice to the people. And that's what my campaign is all about. And also, I've been winning in my life, overcoming many, many, many challenges. And I just, by the grace of God, I want to bring some of that grace and compassion to government for those who find themselves unable to speak or unable to be heard. And my name is Heather Pierre Joseph, and for my Haitian brothers and sisters, Heather Pierre Joseph, merci.
Okay, merci un pile, Heather. Et JR, et n'a pris JR, please do the same thing. Fais même genre, introduis tout et parlez avec.
Okay. I'm going to follow everyone's lead and continue in English.
Thank you.
My name is Claire Agayo. I want to be your next Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Protection Services. I've been a political consultant and crisis manager for over 20 years. I've worked on a lot of races in Florida. 3 out of the last 5 mayoral races in Jacksonville, Florida. Gainesville mayor. I worked with Kendrick Meek when he ran for Senate. I worked with Nan Rich when she was for governor, and for Andrew Gillum. And I've also worked for Democratic candidates all up and down the East Coast in Virginia, in Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut, and Massachusetts. So I've been doing this quite a while. I'm a former Democratic nominee. In 2012, I was the first Haitian American to appear on a general election ballot when I ran against Ted Yoho. It was a plus 19 district, so near impossible district to win. Originally, when I started, it was redistricting. It was supposed to be a +4 Republican, but it changed 3 times by the time the election came around, and it ended up being plus 19. And I could not, in good conscience, let a Republican get into the office without a challenge. People said I wouldn't get 5%. I ended up with 34% of the vote. It was a tough race. In that part, I was the first non-white person to get the nomination. I had to travel with security, with bodyguards with me. And there were some counties, when I was entering with those counties, I had to call ahead and tell the sheriff I was coming and be picked up at the county line by a police escort to get me through certain parts of town. So I know how to talk to Republicans. I've spoken at Tea Party rallies back in 2012. I'm familiar with how the Republican thinks. That gives me an advantage in this race. I don't know how much time I have left, but
you got 54. 54 seconds.
54 seconds. So every commissioner before has their own baby. Nikki Fried was marijuana legalization. Me, I'm focusing on consumer protection. There are three things I'm going after: the rent crisis in Florida, price gouging of food, and liability gun insurance to prevent violence. Those are the three things, and I look forward, as the night goes on, to talk more and diving into my platform a little bit more.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you. All right, let's meet Mr. Robert Demes. Robert, Simbadi no bien femme connaît. Robert, you on mute?
Robert.
Let me, Robert.
Can you unmute him? He's muted.
Let me see. I only can ask him to unmute. Here we go. Oh.
I got it now.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, we hear you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, guys. As you can see, I'm sitting in my car right now because I just drove to West Palm Beach from Sarasota, Florida. I'm not even at the hotel yet. I will be driving another 30 minutes to be at the hotel. So my name is Robert Demes. I'm a Haitian. I was born in Gonaive, and I'm married, father of two children, Nathan and Liz. So I'm running for Florida House of Representatives, District 72. And if you want to know more about myself, you can check my website, www.robertsdemes.com.
Okay. That's it? That quick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get this party started then. All right.
Let me add something right now. I used to be a teacher, and right now I'm a business owner.
Okay, good. All right, good, perfect. So let's get this started. All right, we'll start. You guys know we have a lot of issues in our community. When we're talking about community, I'm talking about the Haitian American community, the Haitian community, because this show is dedicated to them this afternoon, because a lot of them have a lot of questions and a lot of them have bad experience in the past. So that's why I say, okay, let's do something different and let's bring you guys here and talk about this and talk about the issues and let the people know what you're going to do to help. So right now we're in the meat of the action. I will start with Miss Heather this time. Miss Heather, what is your main issues that your campaign identified that need to be resolved, and what kind of progress that's going to bring to your community that you decided you're going to represent?
Oh, fortunately for the Haitian community, I happen to be Haitian, but I am an amazing Black woman who's a descendant of enslaved Africans. So I recognize who I am. I have lived in this country. When people see me, they see me as a Black woman. So some of the issues that I see I am more than 19 years NAACP volunteer. So I think I have a very good grasp on the issues. I started in South Florida in 1998 when they beat a group of Haitians. Actually, I remember this so vividly. There were a group of Haitians protesting on 79th Street in 1998. They didn't have a permit, and they beat them and they sick dogs on them. And then I remember watching television, and they put a clip of that in black and white, and they put both clips in black and white from the 1960s and put a clip from 1998. At that point, you couldn't tell whether we were living in 1998 in South Florida or whether or not we were living in the 1960s or the 1950s. Right then, my pastor, I was a member of New Birth Baptist Church at that time, NAACP, we marched, and I've been marching ever since. One of the catalysts that I see, when you see me, you see a Black woman, but there are times when I speak Creole, or if you can allude to my name, I am, of course, Haitian. out of South Florida has the largest concentration of Haitians, and actually Orlando does second to South Florida. We actually beat West Palm based on the latest census numbers. We don't have any translation of anything in Creole for Haitians. And that is a big issue for me because out of all the Afro-Caribbean countries, and as Haitian Americans, we are Latinos. We're on the island of Hispaniola, and we speak one of the Romance languages. So we're not categorized correctly because we are Latinos by definition. Secondly, nothing's translated into Creole for us. And as Haitian Americans, we are the only ones in the Afro-Caribbean community that don't speak English, and that's a language barrier. And another catalyst that kind of pushed me in here is Texas, right? I'm one of those boat people from 1978, so I know the struggles, and I remember us marching. I remember marching for over 20 years. Nothing has changed for the Haitian community. Whenever something happens to the Haitian community, this is dear to my heart. Everyone is silent. No one speaks up for us. So on that issue, even running or going forth, even as a candidate for District 6, God has elevated my voice. I will no longer sit silent. No one can longer sit silent for the treatment of the immigrants who are Black immigrants who come to this country. So that's the part in the community where I'm so glad that God has called me for such a time as this to speak up on that issue. Secondly, District 6 for the last 20, I've been here for over 20 years. We've gotten nothing. Seconds. We haven't gotten anything. So part of that for me is economic development. I'm Haitian, so I'm gonna continue to say we can't continue to get rice, a sack of rice anymore. And so for me, the two main focus is economic development and just speaking for the needs of District 6.
Okay, thank you. Before I move on to Miss Bracy, I forgot to introduce my co-host this afternoon, which is Mike from Mike Voix de Sans Voix. Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Ok, so Mike, est-ce qu'on ka fon ti bak pou nou? Basi mba ka wè tèt ou nan kamera ou sinon avanse kamera pi devan.
Okay.
Now that's much better. All right, Mike.
Okay, right.
Mike is a community activist, and he also have a couple. I think they. Mike, what about you? Introduce yourself. I'm not gonna do this to myself. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Thank you very much, Johnny. Bon, c'est un plaisir pour me lancer avec nous. Moi, bienvenue tout candidat qui là. Et moi, spécialement, nous avons J.R. Gayo, qui est candidat pour commissionner l'agriculture là. Et je connais que il y a un pile d'autres candidats. Et excusez-moi, ma candidate, madame, c'est comment? Deming?
Miss Bracy.
Miss Bracy. Ok, nous avons Miss Bracy. Qui district est Miss Bracy?
She's gonna answer you. She can hear you.
No, your district, Levon, is Miss Bracy doesn't speak
She doesn't speak Creole.
I'm sorry.
So you're gonna have to ask in English.
Okay, and what
Miss Bracy, she's gonna make us use all of her English tonight.
And what district are you winning?
I'm running for House District 40.
House District 40. Okay, good. Okay.
Yep. Pine Hill, Ocoee, Edgewater, College Park, and Lockhart.
Okay, good. So I welcome everyone here, and I know everyone get to this race and dedicate with on heart and to make sure they're coming to serve. And then this is the reason everyone here to come to serve the people in Miami, because Miami is in crisis right now. This is one of the reasons we really fighting to make sure we bring a fixer on the Commission on Agriculture to bring a fixer to fix the problem in Miami, like J.R. Gayo. So we welcome everyone. And then myself, I am Jean Michael Leonard. Everybody call me Mike. I am the president of that organization called Get Up, Stand Up for Haiti. Get Up, Stand Up for Haiti is an organization fighting against injustice. It's not injustice against only Haitian. Injustice everywhere. Okay? Everywhere there is injustice for every human being. So we stand up for against injustice. We're fighting. And this is the reason today we are very proud to be a part, especially in Florida, in that election. And when they was asking me to help to turn Florida to in blue, and I said, okay, no problem. So we have to sit down because there will be some issue here. Because I understand when it's come to America, there is no question about Democrat or Republican. It's all about America's interests. For myself, as a Haitian American, of course, America's interest is a part of my life. But Haiti's interest is number one issue for me, and especially in the Haitian community, especially in Florida. And then I'm very proud to be here with you guys. And then you can also call me Mike. I am Mike, President Organization Get Up, Stand Up for Haiti. I am here for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Mike been very, very, very humble. If you guys don't know his organization, please try to link up with them. They're doing an outstanding job, and not only in Florida, but throughout the nation. They were one of the organizations when we had the crisis in Texas that went down there and helped a lot of people. So thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. Now, Miss Bracy, actually I say Commissioner, right? Commissioner soon. Same
No,
question.
House, State House.
House. Oh, excuse me.
House
Thank you.
representative.
Thank you for correcting me. Yes, House
No
representative.
problem. No problem. And let me say this. First of all, thank you for the invitation to be on this radio show. And secondly, please do not make any adjustments for me from a language perspective. I am totally fine with you speaking in a different language, as long as when you want me to speak, if you could just translate in English. So please, nobody make any adjustments for me. I'm honored to be a part of this show, and I'm thankful that you all thought enough of me. Even though I am not Haitian and I do not speak Creole, I'm thankful that you invited me here to speak. So much appreciation for that.
It's important because your community, we thought it was very important to have you because the people you're going to represent in this community, the majority are Haitian American, and they need to hear from you, to where you stand. So we appreciate that you accepted our invitation. Okay, so same
Thank
question.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same question for
you made
you.
mention of some of the parts of my platform, or some of the things that I want to ensure in the work that I want to do when I get to Tallahassee. So very simply, my platform has three parts. The first, very similar to Heather, is economic development. I think that is beyond important right now. We understand that we are in an affordability crisis right now. I know we like to say it's just an affordable housing crisis or affordable housing shortage, but I think we're in an affordability crisis. I heard one lawmaker say that Floridians can't afford to be Floridians right now, and that's absolutely true. So that's the first part of my platform: is how do we fix that crisis? The second part, of course, is education. I am a big advocate for education and equal education and the opportunity for all students in Florida to have great education despite where they live. And then the third part is equity. There's a lot of things in Florida that aren't, and I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, but there are a lot of things in Florida that aren't fair. And I want to be an advocate, again, for those that don't feel that they have voices, for marginalized communities, senior citizens, veterans, women's rights. I am a Democrat. There was some mention of the NAACP. I am the daughter of the past president of the Orange County branch of the NAACP. That was my father. My mother is a civil rights icon. She was the first African American to integrate Alachua County school system. So I know what it means to be a voice. I know what it means to be an advocate. I know what it means to be a trailblazer. I am ready to be that leader that listens to the community, very similar to what I'm doing right now, and taking those things that I learned from the community and going to Tallahassee and being a fearless warrior on behalf of the people of District 40.
Okay. Thank you very much. This time we're taking Mr. Roberts first. Same questions. What's your platform, and what are the items in your platform you're willing to go to and advocate for us, and what is that gonna bring back to the community? You are on mute, Robert.
I muted it. I'm sorry. You hear me now, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Yes. I want to be an advocate as well because as you can see, we Asian, we don't have no voice, and I want to be the Asian voice in my district, which is District 72. And also, I'm a victim of a couple of years ago of racism, discrimination, and harassment. So I'm running for Florida House of Representatives to be the to fight to fight for everyone's rights because sometimes they treat us very unfair. And I will also fight for the immigration reform. As you can see, when the Cuban people come here, they just treat them very good. When we come here, they just send us back to Haiti. That's second. And I've been doing that for years, which is helping a lot of people in my community with the immigration forms, like, for example, N400, um, I-90, I-90A, and so on. And also, we have a big inflation right now. As you can see, I will be, I will fight to see how I can lower the gas because as you can see, we have a lot of other I have Sarasota County.
Mm-hmm.
Sarasota County is one of the county gas is very expensive, and we also have very good education problem. So I will be fighting for the education, and also I see a lot of veterans on the street, all over the street, and I have a big heart. I always help, and I will be fighting for them because they're for our rights. And
30
we have
seconds.
also the last thing I want to say because I have everything on my website. The last thing I want to say is about gun. We have a lot of victims also in Manatee County. Manatee County is part of District 72. I will be also fighting for safety purposes because I will make sure my county is safe. It's a safe place where people can live and we can have tourists to visit.
Okay. Thank you.
And I have a lot of things to see.
I know, but your time is up, Robert. I'm keeping the timer because I don't want the show to go over time. So I will get back to you. You want one motion? Go ahead, Ali. Ali, no.
Only one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have about 10 plans in my website. If you go there, you will see them. I won't have enough time to talk about all of them, but if you have a chance to check it, you will see all my plans from my website. But the first one I'm gonna start with is I'm gonna fight for my people's right.
Okay. Thank you. JR, same questions.
Okay. So great news to hear everything that all of you are fighting for. We are fighting for the same thing, except I want to take it to the higher level. The Commissioner of Agriculture has a lot more power than people realize, especially as it relates to the consumer protection side. Number one, I'm the only candidate running for this position who actually has a detailed plan on my website. If you go to jrgallo.com, click on the platform button, I break down step by step how I'm going to tackle it and exactly what I'm going to do. So first, I'm going to talk about the gun problem that everyone in Florida is facing in our community. I will set up a committee that will work with the insurance companies to draft legislation to institute an insurance liability for guns, especially assault weapons. Until now, the House of Representatives in DC passed an assault weapons ban today. That most likely, that is not going to go anywhere in the Senate. We know with the Republican legislature, we're not going to get a ban here in Florida as well. So that is the next best thing. If you need insurance for your house, for your car, for your motorcycle, why not insurance for a gun? I've spoken to gun manufacturers and I've spoken to Republican gun owners. who own those assault rifles. And not one person has said to me, I don't want to pay the insurance. Every single one says, I will gladly pay insurance. What that insurance does is it will remove a lot of people from owning those weapons. And if the person decides they're going to commit a crime, they're going to have to think twice because of the liability it's going to put on themselves and their family members. So we are going to reduce, because one of the things that happens is we don't hear enough about the young black and brown boys and girls who are being murdered in Sarasota County and Tampa and Orlando and Miami and Fort Lauderdale. The news doesn't cover it. When a young black woman goes missing, it doesn't get the press coverage as like a young white woman does. That's the reality. Earlier, I talked about how I had to travel with a bodyguard. This is what I'm talking about. Robert, you talked about the racism, the discrimination you face. We all have faces, okay? The two ladies here on this panel, I respect you. I appreciate you because you have the hardest job as a black woman in America and in this state in Florida. So that's a big thing. Now, the next thing I want to talk about real quick is price gouging. If you go to my website, I break down what companies like Tyson, Pepsi, and Nestle, these three companies own 90% of other food companies in the country. In their quarterly report, they are bragging how much profit they are making. They are talking about how they're reducing the size. When you go to the store, you buy a bag of chicken and it says 10 pounds. When you go home, nobody is actually putting it on a scale to make sure you are actually buying 10 pounds of chicken. Well, guess what? I went to the store. I went to Walmart, to Winn-Dixie, to Publix, to BJ's, to Costco, and Sam's Club. Only one had an accurate. All the others were under the pound limit, they said. That is a crime. There's a federal statute. There's a state statute against that. I will prosecute and take these companies to court. Gas companies are doing the same thing. They are bragging about millions and billions of dollars of profit. While the price of a barrel of oil is lower than before the pandemic is right now.
All right, Jerry, I'm gonna get back to you because we went over the time. That's okay. All right. One other thing we did, I had requested for people when I posted it to send us questions because I wanted those questions to be coming from the community. So I do have a few questions, and I'm doing my best. Well, I did my best to put them and try to understand what the people send it to me, what you're trying to say. So I will be asking those type of questions because those are the questions that the people in the community are asking. Okay. So I don't know if you guys will have answer to them, but I'm gonna do my best and you can do your best to answer them. Okay. So let me grab my phone right here. The first question I have, I'm gonna say it in Creole, in English, and then I put it in Creole. The person said, okay, usually we go out and vote every time the candidate asks us to do so. But when they become elected, we can never find them when we need them. So that why should we continue to vote? So this person m'a dit le plus souvent, yo toujours al voter les candidats qui viennent demander pour yo voter. Après yo voter et puis candidat vient électé, yo pas les yo besoin candidat, les yo gon problème, yo pas ka joindre candidat pour électer à konya pour répondre question pour yo. Pour qui raison pour yo même pour yo continuer à voter? Who want to start first?
I'd love to start.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so that is one thing I've talked about on the campaign trail. You have to not just elect Democrats, but you have to elect better Democrats. Okay? Number one, you have to elect someone who knows the job, understands the process, not someone because you like their names or their friends or family. Because the majority of candidates we elect, and I've helped put so many people in office, when they get there, they realize that the job is a lot harder. They don't understand the rules and the breakdown of it and how it works, and they don't have the ability to talk to the other side. So you have to elect better Democrats. Politics is a business for most people. The first thing they want to do is worry about the re-election and raise as much money as possible. It's a money-making scheme. That's what it is. Okay, so I'll say it in Creole. Le nou vote pour moun sa yo. yo pas kon travail lan, yo pas kon sa y a fait. Faut voter pour moun qui comprend job là. Si yo pas comprend job là, c'est temps ou a perdu voter pour yo. So that is the difference. So you have to vote for better Democrats. So in my race, I'll speak for my race, okay? I can't speak for the other candidates. Go to the other two people's website. Look at what they have for a plan. There is no plan. I tell you step by step. I tell you the statute, the law, and the Florida Constitution, and the Florida statute, and tell you exactly how I'm going to fix it. That is the difference. That is the reason why I'm the better candidate for this job. That is the reason why you need to vote for me on August 23rd. I'll let someone else take over.
All right. Let's take Miss Pierre.
You're muted.
You are mute, Miss Pierre. Please unmute yourself.
Pardon.
Okay.
Ma di an Creole. Problem nou gen se nou pa kompon system nan. So, le ma pale verite. Moun noa vote 5% pou 7%. Ma bon exemple. The city te thanks for going election. Non-election gen san combien 100,000 people. San combien 100,000 people register. Moun nan ki gen sit lan avek 3 million vote. Nou pa vote en août, nou vote en novembre. En jan system nan ye, ou e tout moun ki gen sign. Ok, le moun qualify nan June. Le nou qualify nan June, tout gros compagnie, tout gros moun ki gen kob kap met kob nan eleksyon, yo komanse mande nou keksyon. Si keksyon yo pa, keksyon yo vle jwen, en tout keksyon se kob, kenbe kob. Budget pour Orlando is $5.4 billion. Tourism tax dollar pote $175 million. Tax la pote $200 million. So ça fait $375 million. Moun yo gen entre yo. Se yo men ki sipote kandida yo, se yo men ki met kandida yo devan nou en novembre, so nou pa gen choix de kandida ki bon. English, since I still have about a minute left. So some of the problems, it works both ways. We don't understand what voting is or what the responsibility is. You have a responsibility to hold your elected officials accountable. The Black vote, we vote, 5 to 7%? The last election, last city election, I'm not going to say what race it was. There was approximately 100,000 people registered. The person that currently holds office with 3,000 people. What ends up happening in the candidate world is after qualifying, all the candidate gets these phone calls from PACs and organizations, and the current budget, the tourism tax, the current budget in Orlando, Orange County is $5.4 billion. Out of that, the tourism tax dollar is $175 million in a pandemic. The sales tax from iDrive that tourism bought in approximately 200. That's $375 million. In August, a lot of you are not voting. You say you're voting, but the numbers say you're not voting. So candidates like myself, we don't have the backing. So you don't see a lot of our signs. You don't see, big business doesn't support us. So we don't make it to November. And so November, you don't have the candidate of your choice. You have the candidate that other organizations have selected for you. And that's part of the problem. So I'm just asking all of you to vote. If you have a problem right now, you need to call every elected official. I do that all day, any day. Washington is 212. Orlando, Orange County, you can call 311, speak to everyone, let them know what your issues are. There are 7 people that sit on the diocese. You vote for 2 people. You vote for your county commissioner and you vote for your mayor. You should be calling your county commissioner and your mayor, and you should be calling everyone else to let them know what your concerns are, because that's what the lobbyists do.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bracy?
So I just want to echo those sentiments on voting for a second. As I mentioned that, my mother had the opportunity to integrate a Alachua County school system and to get some equal rights. Her head was split open and all sorts of horrible things happened to her. And I think we do our cities, our counties, and our states, and even our country a disservice when we people of color don't vote. So I think it's so very important, because that is the only way we can hold our elected officials accountable. The question was, what do we do when our elected officials, we elect them and then we don't hear from them, hold them accountable. And then if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, vote them out. It disappoints me when I hear that, you know, elected officials aren't doing what they're supposed to do, but then the same person that says that is not voting. Well, if you don't vote, then you can't complain. So you hold them accountable and then vote them out if they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And as it relates to me personally, so I'm in a newly redrawn district, and there is no incumbent. And so I can't say that I've been an elected official. What I can say is you can trust me, and not to lean on my family, but I just want to tell your viewers this tidbit of information that the district that I'm running for was held by my brother 10 years ago. And my brother, Senator Randolph Bracy, went from Rep. Randolph Bracy to Senator Randolph Bracy, and now he is running for Congress. And he has an excellent track record. He's brought millions of dollars to this district, and not advocating for him and not running on his platform. However, the people of this district trust him. And so just know that the adage is true. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And you know a tree by the fruit it bears. So I'm ready to continue on in his legacy. The people of this district appreciate the work that he's done. And I'm ready to make it go forward and continue with this legacy.
Okay, thank you. Robert? You're on mute, Robert. We'll mute that.
You got me now. Okay. So I think the most important is just register and go out to vote. One thing I'm gonna do with my team before the election, just go out to find all the problems, all the issues of my district. And when I go to the office, I will know exactly what those issues are and start working on them. Second, I don't think you will be able to get in touch with us, because we're gonna have a lot of job to do. I'm answering the question right now to whoever who asked for that. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, you may have the opportunity to call our office, you know what I mean, or you have our email to send your question and you will get an answer. I don't think it's gonna be easy for us to get in touch with every single person. Ça mwen vle di, pa pense que yon moun ap gen accès pour rencontrer avec nous même dans office là, parce que n'a gen trop travail pour nous faire. Parce que nous n'a gen opportunité pour nous ka email nous, écrit nous, secrétaire nous après pour nous. Mais ça gen pour faire, gen pour enregistrer et puis al voter, et puis moi même plan moi c'est avant l'élection pour me gagner tout problème que district moi a gagné, et les m'entrer dans office déjà connaît puis me travaille pour sur.
Okay, I think I have everybody, but I'm going to follow up with the next question, because what you mentioned, Mr. Demers, me personally, I understand that, of course, they are not going to get in touch with you guys, but you guys have staff. Okay, they should be able to find somebody in the staff to provide them the information that they needed. However, that's a good segue to the next question. The next question said, pour ki sa, nan tout office électé officiel yo pa jam gon moun ki parle créole pour aider nous, mais nous toujours jwenn moun ki parle espagnol pour aider communauté espagnole la. Ki sa office wap fè pour changer ça? So the question is, why on every elected official there is nobody who speak Creole to help us, but they always have somebody who speaks Spanish to help the Spanish community? What your office is going to do to change that? And we start with, well, Damiris, you already on the screen. I'll let you take it.
Okay. I think, like, I don't know what district is that. I'm talking about West Palm Beach. Several offices, when you go to them, especially food stamp, because I know that for right. When you go to a lot of offices in West Palm Beach, they make like Spanish as a second language and Creole as a third language. So I think about that too, because when I go to the office, I can come with that bill to see if we can have that, if we can have that to make Creole as a third language. Every office you go, you can use your own language. For example, some job in this, when you go to this, if you come to my office, to my district 72, when you go to some companies, they have the translation in Creole too. So I will be fighting for that, so Creole can be the third language here at District 72.
And before I pass this to Heather, then to Miss Bracy, and we take Gerald last. I am a witness to this because when I retired from the Navy and I came down here and I went to the brand new DMV office at the mall, and I interviewed the guy who was the PAO, and one of the issue was concerning to me. This big office, everything is set up by appointments, and all of the kiosks are in Spanish, all of the kiosks are in English, and there was a line of people who was outside that I was talking to them that are Haitian who was having difficulty to navigate in that office because there was no Creole available. And I did in the interview, I did ask that question to the PAO. Okay. And he said, you know what? Nobody ever asked us about that. And I think what that person, I'm not trying to read their mind, but me personally, I think that should be part of the responsibility of those of us, of those of you who represent us, in Tallahassee, to ensure if you're gonna do it for one, you got to do it for everyone. So I think that's what that person is asking. What are you guys going to do to ensure that there's fairness when he comes to those type of issues when they need help? So, Miss Heather.
Great question. Those are some of my concerns, and so number one is that they're indifferent to us. No one is really speaking up for the lack, as I mentioned before, and I'm going to continue to say it. Haitians, we are Latinos. Hear me again. Haitians, we are Latinos. We're on the island of Hispaniola, and the definition says if you speak one of the Romance languages, you're considered Latino. We speak French. French is one of the Romance languages. Secondly, representation matters. Representation matters because you give a different insight. And not only do you get a different insight, you're supposed to care. We've been putting the wrong people in office. Secondly, in order to get that language barrier, we're supposed to go off of the census numbers. On the census, when you fill out the census form and it says, do you speak another language? And if you put yes or Creole, that's the way we can track it. There's a law. They're required. They're not going to make Creole a second languages, but based on discrimination, if there's a certain population that speaks a language, you're required to have government services, poll workers, translations in that. I'm just telling the Haitian community, no one's cared enough to say it. Oh, no one's cared enough about us to do anything. Pour mon haïtien, ça m'a dit nous gen moun ki haïtien ki nan office, mais ke yo se pa pou haïtien, cause yo se pa pou haïtien. Yo gon loi, le nou fè census lan, yo fè census la sa 10 ans. Lo fè census lan, lo make ki lot lang ou pale la kayo, lo make Creole, yo gen loi ki pa pou diskriminasyon. So se pou gon moun ki di, ok, nan risa gen tel ke moun ki pale Creole, den moun yap chanje. Mais haïtien, nou pa gen moun ki represent nou. Sa fe sa m'a mande pou nou vote avem because m get to konen sa pou m fe. So se pa faute moun yo because nou pa gen leader haïtien. Nou gen pile haïtien, mais eske voix yo se pou yo ede tout moun.
Okay. Thank you.
Definitely true.
Ms. Bracy?
Just simply answer to that question is my office will be reflective of the constituency that I serve. My district is made up of Pine Hills, and there's a large Haitian population there. So my office will absolutely look and feel like the people that I serve. I learned just a moment of transparency, a valuable lesson. I have been knocking on doors for the last 3 to 4 months canvassing. And I recall when I knocked on a door And the person on the other side of that door said that they spoke Creole and they didn't understand. And they immediately after that moment, I realized that I needed to translate my literature in Haitian Creole, because if you can't communicate to your constituency, how can you represent them? Mm-hmm. So I understand that, and I cannot wait to be elected so that I could be the state representative for all people. And everything that I do, all of my events and programs will be reflective of the community that I serve, knowing that I will represent Pine Hills and a large Haitian population. I'm ready for it.
Okay. JR. JR, you on mute? You on mute, brother.
All right.
All right.
My entire website has already been translated into Creole. My literature is in Creole. I have several Haitian staffers right now. I'm always the one talking about in Creole. When I announce, one of the first things I said is that I'm Haitian American. And for the last few years, I've been on national TV talking about Haiti. I've made appearances on MSNBC, CNN. When it comes to the migrant crisis, I spoke on Joy Reid's show right before the Haitian president was assassinated. I talked about the danger, what was coming, the migration crisis, all that has happened. It just needs to be done. And Ms. Pierre is correct. There is a law that says once it reflects, it has to be translated. I automatically do it. And so you folks that are going to Tallahassee and your local commissioners, make sure that that changes and that follows. But it's an automatic thing for me. And my phone number, by the way, is public. I've had the same phone number for 25 years. People look up my number on the election website and they decide to call it, and then I pick up the phone and they're shocked that they're actually speaking with the candidate. That's how I plan to be reachable all the time, because the job is representing the people, and that's what this is about.
All right, thank you, JR. All right, now we're gonna be a little bit more specific because we have just a few more minutes to go. And go ahead. I'm going to you, Mike. I'm going to you. And now I'm gonna turn over to Mike, because Mike might have some few questions for you guys. Mike?
Yes, which is not, okay, thank you very much. It's really not a question, because I like the fact what Mrs. Pierre said about the Haitian do not have representative. We complaining about when we go to offices, we get Spanish and English, we don't have no Creole. And Ms. Pierre said we have Haitian do not represent Haitian. And this is the one reason I'm very, very proud with Gayo for what he been doing for the last couple of years for the Haitian community, especially for Haiti, I can say. But one thing I'm going to say right now, I will ask all the candidates here, to help me, especially, because my fight is to create a community, a Haitian community. When Ms. Pierre said Haitian do not represent, it is true. We have 10,000, 20,000 leaders, but we do not have one leader. We do not have one leader, because everybody is fighting to be the head. And then is not one representative. We need to build that community. Okay? We have 20 million organizations, but you know what? We do not have one leader. We need to have a leader, and then that leader will be the one to represent the community to the elected official. That's what we need. and then this is a must. And then I'm proud when I talk to Honorable Gregory Mix about to build that community, the Haitian community. He said, Mike, believe me, this is another 1804. But your people so divided, you're not going to get the support from them because every one of them want to be the leader. That's the problem we got in that community. And I said to him, you know what? I'm a very patient person because 1804 did not come on 1804. We start fighting. The big one was started in 1791 to bring 1804. We need to build that Haitian community and that diaspora. It is important to have a representative. And then because when we have one elected official, he cannot be talking to every one of us. No. We need a leader who can represent us to the elected officials. Thank you very much. That's all I want to say.
Right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. We're gonna be a little bit more personal. This part, I think, this question is for JR, and I think I took it from most of the question I received, and I think that fall under the Commissioner of Agriculture, and that's what I was trying to do, to pick questions for every candidate that I see is more specific to their community. JR, the person said it's about marijuana licenses. Let's say, what is the process for Black people to be able to get a marijuana licenses to in the state of Florida?
Well, I'm going to be blunt.
I think they're talking about for businesses. They're talking about the license for business.
I'm going to be blunt. Okay, the Republicans and the white community, they don't want it in the hands of Black people. Okay, that's the reality of it. We don't have a single one right now. There are many lawsuits happening to get that, and money has been blocked, funding has been blocked to get a Black licensee to happen. So I pledge to continue the lawsuit that Nikki Fried has started to pursue that. The rules are there. They're not respecting the rules. You have everything from the minimum wage ordinance that passed with 61%. You have so many other things that the Republicans distract you with. Other laws, you can run over protesters with your car, don't say gay, and they are taking money from corporations and hitting you with high insurance rates and everything else. It needs to happen. So I don't have a specific answer. One of the things about me is I won't lie to you. I'm not going to pretend or dance around and tell you something just because it sounds good. There needs to be more licensing. One of the things I'd like to see is every young brother and sister of color, Black, brown, who is in jail for marijuana offense needs to be out of jail because these folks are making a killing. All right. I'd like to see marijuana be legalized, be taxed properly, and use it as a resource. But you're going to get people on the Republican side who are going to play the politics of fear, telling you it's a gateway drug. It leads to other things. Marijuana helps people that are in pain, has some good health benefits. But why does this happen? It's the reality of it is the fact that they don't want anybody that look like us to have the opportunity to make the money. And I get into office as your Commissioner of Agriculture. Black people will have a bigger seat at the table, that I can promise you.
Okay.
So.
All right. Thank you, JR. I'm asking if any one of you guys want to chime in on that subject as well, because at the end of the day, you guys, especially the representative, you're going to be in Tallahassee and you're going to have to vote on issues like this. I start with Ms. Bracy. Yep, I think Ms. There you go.
Yeah, got it. No, I do agree. You know, there's millions and millions and millions of dollars in the marijuana industry, and oftentimes things are rooted in racism that we don't call out for being racist. And at the end of the day, the marijuana industry is about wealth, and the powers that be would love to keep that wealth within certain communities. So I would also be an advocate and lend my voice to figuring out how we can go beyond just a certain community and a small amount of people and a certain demographic getting rich off of this, and other people that look like you and me not having an opportunity to have a seat at that table. So we'll definitely lend my voice to that issue as well.
All right, thank you. Miss Heather, you want to take a bite at this? I know it's more for those people going to Tallahassee.
I'm very versed on the subject matter. Everyone is right. It's legislation, but I want us to understand at the end of the day, although we bring different perspectives to the table or different lived experiences, we're one people. And so at the end of the day, it's about economics. This is what I would love to see. I would love to see the voters. You have so much power right now. Everyone's running for office. We have some of these hot topic buttons, these hot topic issues. Get away from these hot topic issues and let's start focusing on the money aspect. We need to be asking everyone for people running for Congress, because it is based in racism. And there are other states that are passing legislation. There are other states that are filing lawsuits. In Florida, because we don't vote, Orlando is heavily Democratic. There are more Democrats than are Republicans. Because we're staying home, we're putting the wrong people in office. They use, I'm just gonna say it, they'll use abortion as one of the issue. And so you forget about everything else and you're concerned about abortion. And then you come out and you say, well, why don't we have money? Why? Yeah, because the Republicans are not going to allow it in the state of Florida. There are other states that know, because of the past discriminatory marijuana laws, marijuana and cocaine, they have retroacted that or tried to compensate for that and made laws. So when you're asking these questions, and I'm kind of tough, just like you're tough on your elected officials, I'm going to be tough on the voter. We're not able to pass a fair law in regards to medical marijuana and marijuana or the sentencing law, because some of us, we just hop on this abortion thing and then we forget about everything else. You vote on abortion, you vote the Republicans in, or you vote on gays, you vote Republicans in, and then you come back to us and then you ask, what are we gonna do? So I just want you to be mindful. Think of the issues that impact you and that affect you the most. Do I have anything else left? Any minutes?
No, I didn't bring your time and I'm counting behind the window. You still got 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. Samadi nou, si nou concern, si ke nou se pou medical marijuana pou nou fe kob, si spon vote sou Republican yap di nou kon sa, abortion, gay, nou men nou koui, nou vote tout Republican in, and then nou vini ko Democrat. Pa gen ase Democrat nan Tallahassee pou yo pasan yen. So stop voting on issues that don't affect portion, and then nou vin koui, then nou vin mande nou, pou ki sa nou pa ka joun sa, pou ki sa nou pa ka joun sa, because nou vote pou Republican yo, se Republican nou mette nan pouvoi. Le nou mette yo nan pouvoi, se sa nou jwen.
All right. Thank you. Mr.
I
Robert,
love you all.
you want to take a bite at this, or you want me moving to the next question? Robert, you tell them?
Oh, I was on mute. Okay. Yes. Honestly, the marijuana topic was not on my top list or priority. But at the same time, I have to tell you guys, marijuana is not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is your rights. It's part of our rights. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fight for our rights. That's all, and it's gonna be part of it.
Okay, thank you. Next question, and that will be the final questions before I put you guys on the big screen to talk about your campaign. At that time, I'll let you talk as much as 5 minutes as you want, because it's about your campaign. But this question was very important. I had to pick it up from the lineup. It's about integrity. What we see over the years or over the few months that a lot of candidates get in trouble because they have issues with integrity or they're not telling the voters what they need to tell the voters. What is your stand when it comes to integrity? And let's go with, well, I already have you on the screen. Roberts, let's get you here. What is your stand on integrity?
What I think is a lot of people always think politicians are liars, but I don't think that's true. But the thing is, what people have to understand, sometimes you have a plan, you have a lot of things to do, but you don't have the chance to do everything. For example, if you go to my website, you will see my plan. But in 2 years, I won't be able to do everything. I can have a chance to do 50% of it, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna fight for. So the thing is, we can't do everything. Uh, the way I see integrity, you have to tell what you have as perspective, and which is true. When I say I'm gonna fight to lower gas, stuff like that, I will be fighting for that. When I say I'm gonna fight for the immigration reform, I'm gonna do that. But at the same time, if I don't have the chance to do it, not because I lied, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see it.
Okay. Miss Pierre?
Oh, I am big on integrity. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people say about you, it matters what is true about you. And for me, I'm a believer. And so for me, my guiding principle, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and yet loses his soul? It is about, when you talk about integrity, it's about being honest and dishonest. People get in trouble for dishonesty. Pour moi, la Bible an gen bagay ki di kon sa ou moun a profeti gen tout bay nan tout peyi ya, men i pedi nam ni. Pou mwen son kretyen ye, pa melem sa moun di de mwen, men sa ki la veyite de mwen, sa efek dem. Gen fwa le moun ap koi pou ofis, lo pale de integrity, it's about eske yo pale veyite. Gen moun le a pale sou jwen yo nan manti nan campaign yo, ki jon ka fe yo konfians. Gen moun kap koui, yap sere sekre, yo gen kontra avek gouvernement, maman yo gen kontra, lot moun gen kontra, yo menm yo vin devon. Le moun vin pala avek nou, fò nou mande, ki moun sa ye ou ki moun sa voye. You have to do your research. And I go on to say, when you find a candidate running for office and they're dishonest in their campaign, the likelihoods that they'll be dishonest. You have people running for office in my race that have contracts with the county, they're hiding information, they have lobbyists, they have special interests, and then they come before you and they deceive you. So I just want you to be a little bit mindful of the candidates that you're electing. They're doing this smokescreen. So when integrity means you want your children to, and I got a child, so I'm not compromising because I have a daughter. I'm not compromising my integrity for anyone or any position. But at the end of the day, when you see somebody in office, ask yourself, do I want this person to be an example for my child? Not everyone perfect, but there's some untruths that are just, if the person starts off running a campaign with untruths, how do you expect them to have integrity in the office? Not perfect, but integrity. And I just want you to think about that and to consider that.
Okay, thank you. JR?
That's a great question. And I have to agree with just about everything Ms. Pierre said. Integrity is a big part of it. You have to do your research. During this campaign, one of the questions I'd ask of me is, how come I haven't raised much money? Well, I'm going to share this, something that is the first time I'm sharing it publicly. I turned down about, a company offered to open a PAC for me and donate $20,000 to the campaign. But there were conditions for it. and I wouldn't go for those conditions. That, to me, is what I am about. There are other people in my race that are running. You have to look at the people's backgrounds, their history, what repeated behavior has been done. I invite anyone to take a look at my background. Do a deep dive on me if you want. See what I'm about. Take a look at my opponents, see what they're about. Integrity is a big thing, like Ms. Pierre says. If they're not being honest with you now, what happens when they get into office? When you give someone, when you put them in a position of power, when you put them in a position where they make decisions that are affecting your lives, this is not a game. This is a call of service. This is not a money-making scheme for me. And for anybody sitting here on this panel tonight, this is real life challenges. So integrity is a big thing. Do your research and look at the policies. I know Mr. DeMayes has talked about his plan, and I talked about my plan being on the website. Take a look at it. One of the questions I was asked earlier is, when someone goes into office, they don't deliver on the promises. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm telling you exactly what my issues are and how I'm going to fix it. It's not going to be an easy job. It's going to take more than 4 years for me to fix it, because the Republicans are going to put up barriers. I know what those barriers are. I know how to get around them. My job as a crisis management is to fix problems. I've done it for years. I've represented athletes, politicians, CEOs, musicians, and Florida's in a crisis, and I can fix it. But you have to have the trust in me to do it, and I'm asking for your trust. I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for your vote. Take a look. Go to the website, jrgallo.com, jrgallo.com. Read the platform and change the language to Creole. You could read it in Creole. You could read it in French. Want to give me a call? 904-531-4737. You can text me at that number. And I'll get back to you right away, but I am going to get back to you. I'm guaranteed. So integrity is a huge thing. And let's change Florida together. We got a great panel of great candidates here. And Mike was talking about having a leader. The problem is, in our community, the reason everybody wants to be a leader in the Haitian community is all about what's in it for them.
Give me 30 seconds. We'll give you 30 seconds on this part. Go ahead. We want to hear that.
It's about what's in it for them, how much money. You know, the first time I've met some people like Mike and other people that have called me up and says, hey, can you get me in front of this representative? Can you get me in front of this person? And then at the end, the person has said to me, what do I owe you? And I said, what do you mean, what do you owe me? You just asked me to put you in front of someone and I did it. I asked you what your issues were, what it's about. So, you know, one of the events I wanted to hold down in Miami, I didn't hold it because they said, oh, you have to use our host. Okay, no problem. But the host says I need to be paid $1,000 for me to host it for 2 hours. 2 hours, $500 an hour. I mean, I understand your time is valuable. You need to get something, but $1,000 for 2 hours? And you won't move off that price, guess what? The event's not happening now. That's the problem with the lack of leadership in the Haitian community. It's always about what's in it for me.
Thank you. Ms. Bracy?
So I agree. Floridians and voters should have an assured reliance in character, ability, strength, and in the truth of those we elect in public office. And it's concerning. It is concerning that trust has reached record-breaking lows in our city, our county, our state. But that also stirs a fire in me to prove to you that my name is synonymous with trust. Now, I mentioned that my seat is an open seat, so I have never been an elected official, but I plan to be one. And what I ask that the District 40 does is they trust me at first, and then they hold me accountable. If I don't do what I say, If I don't deliver, if I don't stand firm, if my word is not what I say, if I don't present in a way that is truthful and honest, you hold me accountable for it. And yeah, because I believe all you can do right now is trust what I say. But like I mentioned earlier, you know a tree by a fruit that it bears. And my legacy, my family, my name is good in this community. So I ask that you trust that. You trust that until I have given you reason, which I will not, to think otherwise.
All right, thank you. Don't worry what you're saying, because the audience can see it. But listen, I need to show you guys website before you go, and I'm gonna try to do this as quick as possible. So I'm gonna try to share my screen and then show the audience your website. I had it pulled up for most of you guys, but if I can get it pulled up, I'm gonna ask it to you and we'll type it because I think the voters deserve to see what you guys talking about. When you say go to my website, and sometimes it's hard for people to know what it is. So let's do that way, or people know exactly um, what you're about. And plus, when you come to Over Barrier, we always check because we have to make sure that the information we're putting out is accurate. Now, it might not be as big in the screen, but we'll try the best we can to get it. Okay, so let's go back to our screen. All right. Okay. So now, before I let you guys have the last word, Mike, ou met la goun baye nan men yo pou mwen, paske m kompre la, e yo fè un bon travay. So, an nou, so gen lot kesyon, met komanse pose yo, pandan ke map eseye pou an website sa.
Okay, merci un peu. Thank you very much. You know, you come up with a question of integrity. To me, integrity, your integrity, your character, I believe this is all you have. If someone doesn't have that, I will not give that person 1 second of my life. Because when you have integrity, you have no price. No one, you are a priceless person. No one will buy you. Because whatever you said, you mean what you said. GR was talking about people ask him. I'm a witness of that. I send people to GR in Washington. I asked him favor in Washington. He opened all the doors for me in Washington. And then people I sent to him called me and said, Mike, he don't charge me. I said, he never charged me either. You know, that's who he is. But when I'm looking at some people in the race who come to run for office, from the get-go, they start doing gimme stuff, like to show they do not have integrity. This is the reason I'm very proud of him when he said to people, go look in my website, take my name, check on me first to see who I am first. It's not about how much money I have. It's about the character and how I'm going to serve you. And I believe everyone here deserve a second chance, deserve that chance from every voters. I believe this is not the only people we have to come to this platform tonight. And I believe there is people who said yes, they will be here. And now they're not even here. That to show you what kind of character these people have. I hope the voters will take notice of that to make sure they vote for the right one. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mike. You guys probably don't know our platform is a very small platform, but we're proud of that because it's all about quality. Okay, it's nothing about quantity. But I can assure you, there's people all over the world who's watching you who's not even under that live, because the minute I say something or I do something different, my phone start blowing up. I'm like, well, how can I never see you under my live? He said, don't worry, I'm watching you. I spent a lot of time in the military, and a lot of those guys are still active duty. Of course, I understand why, but remember, they still have families that they can talk to and influence and help them make the best decision. And sometime in life, I will say, do not chase that quantity. Stay true to yourself, no matter what. And that's what our platform stands for. And I appreciate you guys for being here this afternoon. But I'm going to show you guys the website so that people can have a chance to see your website if they want to donate, or if they want to navigate your website so they can do so. So I have JR pull up already. That's not JR, but that's JR right here. Okay. JR was the fixer for Florida. And there's a donate button you're not seeing in the screen. But when you click on that donate button, it will show you where to donate. And JR was mentioning that the platform is also in Creole. And I'm going to live test it, because it's important for me to know if it's accurate or not. Okay, so it does have a button in here where you guys probably not seeing from the top. It's a little green button, will say English. When I click in there, it's actually showing Spanish. So does it translate in Spanish? We don't know. Okay, so far so good. And it's also say Creole. Oh wow. All right.
Fair don pour JR, yes.
All right, you got me. But this is what we look at, because the community have a lot of people who doesn't speak the language. It's not like they don't understand, but they doesn't speak the language as perfectly as everybody else. When you take somebody who come here at 40, 50 years old and spend most of the time working, and they are outstanding citizen, and yeah, they're able to get by, but there is certain information, certain questions that important to ask in that native language. And I appreciate that you took time to do this. And hey, I'm just gonna quiet from here. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next website. Is Miss Bracy. Same thing. Miss Bracy have some actions to take action. I'm assuming when you click in there, they have a volunteer stuff if you want to donate. She have a donate button you're not seeing in the screen. It bring you to Act Blue, and you can pick what is the amount you want to donate to her campaign if you want to support her campaign. And Miss Bracy is something that you need to bring up to your website. Please let me know so I can click on it. She also have her bio in here for those of you who don't know who she is. So she have a bio in here, and she also have what her platform is about as well in here. Miss Bracy, if you want to add something, please let me know.
Yeah, Levon Bracy Davis, and I would just love the support of the constituents and the people that are on this call tonight, and the people that are under the sound of my voice. Just a little bit about me, and I'll be really, really, really brief. I think, as I mentioned in my opening, I'm a former DCF attorney. And for the past 14 years, I've worked at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. And quite honestly, I believe that the future of this district and this state depends on the quality of leadership that we have. So I am a legislative appointee, a 9-year legislative appointee. I understand about working. I think one of the colleagues on this call talked about working across the aisle. I am ready for that. I understand what Tallahassee looks like and feels like, and what my role will be in Tallahassee, and how, in order to bring resources back to this district, I have to be able to work across the aisle, and I'm ready for that. And I am excited about that. So, yeah, I am a graduate of Florida Agricultural.
You're still gonna get your 5 minutes at the end. So we're gonna get back to you. You're gonna get a big screen with your 5 minutes at the end, so you can talk to the.
Oh, I thought this was the 5 minutes. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's not it. That's not it. I want to keep going to show everybody as soon as possible. Miss Heather.
And that was my 2 minutes, so I don't even need 5 minutes at the end. How's that?
That's good. All right, Miss Heather, same thing. Her platform, she have the donate button again. Was work. I like to click on it to give people the opportunity to see it. So if you want to donate to her campaign, I was able to do so. She also, oops, where am I? Okay, she does have a bio in here, who she is. But when I click on it, Miss Heather, there it is. Okay, so she have a bio in here, describe who she is. Same thing, Miss Heather. If I'm missing something, please let me know so you can let the voters know. I did not do that for JR because I was shocked. This platform is in Creole. So Miss Heather, if you want to add something, so go ahead.
No, JR, you said you don't have any money, but those Creole and Spanish buttons cost a lot of money, but that's okay. No, yeah, I just want everyone to know, if you could get to meet me, know my heart. I've been in this community. I've been an educator in the Pine Hills District. I'm a business owner. And I think for most of us on here, I'm speaking for myself, it is there's certain segments of the community.
Don't take your 5 minutes now.
Oh yeah, okay.
Don't take your 5 minutes. The ladies just want to take their 5 minutes now because I have to show.
No, I did want to point out on my website, persons with disability, right? I have this thing reimagined. It's called IDEA. We talk about. So I just wanted to mention that because a lot of times I have a child with disabilities. And it's very difficult to navigate. And my heart is with persons with disability in all forms.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go to Mr. Damis. Are you still with us?
I'm here.
Please give me the website again. Please forgive me. Remember, I get yours late. It's on my phone. So what is your website?
www.robertsdameis.com.
robertsdameis.com. Okay, there you are. Okay. Same thing. Robert does have a donate button. So for those of you who want to donate to his campaign, it's very easy to do so. And I'm gonna go back to same thing. If you want to add something, let me know. You have your page info, what you're about over here. If I'm missing something, please let me know. And then your home button. Very easy to navigate. Very easy to donate. Very easy to get in touch with them. So here we go. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I built my website.
You built your website yourself.
I was the builder of my website.
Well, you must be a web designer by trade.
Well, thank you.
Okay. All right. So now what we're gonna do, because we're at the end of this, and I'm gonna give everybody a chance to speak up. I'm gonna put you on the big screen. I'm gonna remove myself and Mike from the screen because I believe you guys have a message for your people. You have a message for your constituent. You have a message for your community. So I'm gonna remove myself and let you do that. Of course, we're gonna go with the ladies first since we went to Miss Bracy to start. We'll start with Miss Heather. I'll put you on the big screen, and me and Mike will remove ourselves, and we'll let you guys talk to your constituent. We'll give it 5 minutes, but if you finish before the 5 minutes, it's okay as well. Okay? All right, thank you. Mike, let's remove ourselves from here, and let's start with Miss Heather. Miss Heather, go ahead.
Okay.
Nom se Heather Pierre Joseph, ma pou pour Orange County Commission District 6. Ma mande nou pou support mwen. Oui, se on petit pays à mieux. Mais ça m'vle focus on pote police corps dans District 6. M'vle focus on pote ou center dans District 6 pour ti moun yo, like a robotics center. Chaque bagay nou bezwen dans District 6, c'est pour nous sortir, nous pas ka joindre ça nous besoin. Ma mande nou pou support. M'pa gen gros compagnie ou gros campaign gros paki deyem. So ma mande nou pou al sou website nou sa nou ka donner même pour $1. Pour ki sa m'pon $1? Mpwando la, se pou nou konen, because vle nou komanse active and volunteer nan komunite a. Lo bay kob, lo vote, se lesa ou gen pouvoi, se lesa moun koutou, se lesa moun fe bagay. So, an nou leve ansam, an nou kampe ansam, m konen gen fwa nou pa gen, nou dekouaje, men se pitit mize nou ye, nou pa ka dekouaje. Se pa pou nou, kom si nou vi la via, nou pase la via, gen an nou ki pase mize, gen an nou ki pa pase mize. Eti moun yo der, nou pa ka dekouaje. Se pou nou soti, se pou nou vote, se pou nou batay, se pou nou kampe. Batay ou batay avek moun se lò vote. Sou pa remen jam moun nan ye, ou vote yo out. So mak mande nou pou support, eleksyon komanse, early voting komanse le 8 août, pou le 21 août, and ou ka vote le 23 août. So, le 8 août, se pou nou komanse vote, gen voting center nan Hiawassee, nou ka toujou vote nan Kelly, gen nan Pine Hills, gen nan Washington Shores, gen 6 lokasyon. Se pou nou vote, se pou nou vote, se pou nou vote, and then ma mande nou pou support. Merci un peu.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bracy?
Again, my name is LaVon Bracy Davis, and I'd like to submit my name for your thoughtful consideration. There is no political incentive or hidden agenda. I just humbly chose to run for this office because it's time. Time to send this licensed and barred attorney, the champion for safety, security, and permanency of Florida's abused, abandoned, and neglected children. Time to send this mentor, arts advocate, and community servant to fight to provide necessary resources to organizations that shape our future leaders. Time to send this candidate to Tallahassee, the champion for economic development and empowerment, so that small businesses can thrive without threat of unbearable financial inequity. And it's time for issues like the affordable housing shortage, women's rights, civil rights, equal pay, to be answered in a way that preserves the public's interest and offers thoughtful, reasonable solutions. And it's time for a fresh year, a fresh perspective, and a fresh start. It's time to ask the question, District 40, what is keeping you up at night? And it's time to listen when people speak and collaborate and get to work. So as I mentioned earlier on the call, my platform has 3 areas of focus: education, economic development, and equity. And I am beyond excited and invigorated and motivated to listen to you, to work alongside you, to serve you, and to advocate on your behalf, to create quality jobs, career resources, to improve opportunities in arts and education, protect democracy, and provide affordable healthcare, and to ensure equity, and all of the other things that have priority in our lives. So I'm excited. My truth to you is simply this, that I've dedicated my life's work personally and professionally to this community. My truth to you is that everything that I have lived and experienced, both failures and triumphs, have prepared me for this seat in this moment. My truth to you is this: I promise to be the name that you know, but most sincerely, throughout this campaign, and then also when I go to Tallahassee and beyond, I will promise to be the name that you can trust. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Okay. Johnny.
I can talk more if you want me to.
Go ahead.
No, that was it. I'm just thankful and appreciative, and I would ask that if there are any members of or voters in District 40 on this call to remember my name.
Okay.
LaVon Bracy Davis.
Bon. Okay. Johnny is you.
Oh, I'm on mute. I'm over here screaming. Robert, can you hear us? That's the beauty of going live, man. Things happen. This is live. It's happening live. There is no edits. There is no cut it through. So it happens. So, Robert, go ahead. You're live. Let me bring you to the screen first, Robert, so I can give you the same opportunity as everybody else. All right, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, if I have anyone from my district right here, which is District 72. Again, my name is Robert Guy DeMace. I'm running for the House of Representatives, District 72. This is why you have to vote for me. I will be representing everyone. Either you're American, you Spanish, you Haitian, I will be there for you. I will be fighting for veterans, disabled veterans, because I see a lot of veterans on the street asking for money for food. And also, I will be fighting for the inflation problem we have right now. We are facing a big inflation right now. So, and we have real estate problem. I will be also fighting for housing problem. I'm talking about I'm gonna be when I'm talking about everyone together. When it's come to Haitian, mwen pral batay pou problem imigrasyon nou. Paske nou subi problem sa an pil nan komunote ya. Mwen pral batay pou nou, pou droit nou. Paske an pil fwa droit nou pa respekte. I'm talking about the Haitian community right now. Mwen espere gen moun ki la kap tandem ki nan district mwen ya. Mwen pral batay pou nou, pou droit nou, paske an pil fwa droit nou pa respekte. Mwen pral batay pou reform osi nan religion. Si ta gen pasteur kap tandem nou la, ta gen pe kap tande nou, nan n'importe l'église où nous pral bataille pour tout ça yo, et nous pral bataille aussi avec pour loi zam respecté. So m'a dit clair pour tout le monde, moi pas penser li normal pour tout le monde capable gen zam jan yo vle, moi penser tout le monde ka gen droit pour protéger tête yo parce que moi même moi clair avec tout le monde. Moi pral bataille pour sécurité établie dans district 72 pour n'importe moun pas cap marcher avec zam, utiliser les fin boire alcool, laguer mon à terre, moi pas d'accord ça. Et puis ensuite, moi gagne un pile pasteur qui est crime. Ça vient fait partie de intégrité aussi. Yo mande pour yo voter, faut moi voter against abortion. Ça c'est l'autre bagaille qui m'a tout répondre là si tu gagne yon nan moun sa yo qui t'a écrit parce que moi écrit un pile lettre avec pasteur qui dans communauté. Moi pas ouais que abortion ta kap yon problème si et seulement si yon moun ta violé ou bien si moun sa ta violé pas et parent pas ta vle faire petit là. Ça c'est moi même, ça c'est comme ça moi well. Moi pas quoi dans abortion yon moun enceinte li nek retire petit là. So moi recevoir pile lettre dans tout ça yo, ça c'est foi pas c'est foi pas moi, ça c'est croyance moi. So m'a dit que m'a supporter tout ça qui est normal pour la communauté et puis pour venir avec une possibilité pour nous capables de créer plus de jobs, pour nous capables de gagner l'argent dans poche nous, pour tout ça nous devons régler, pour nous capables de régler pour American Dream capable de venir en réalité pour tout le monde.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. All right, JR, I'm rolling back to you, my brother. Go ahead. You got the screen.
All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a critical phase of what's happening in Florida here. Rent is too expensive. Food is too expensive. Your lives have become too expensive. Florida is one of the most unaffordable states in the country, if not the most unaffordable state in the country right now. The Commissioner of Agriculture has a lot of power to change things. You must vote for me because in terms of the rent, I will institute a rent cap hike, which means that there's only a small percentage of 2.5%, that will be the maximum, that people will be able to raise your rent, not double your rent like they did to my daughter. My daughter was paying $800 and then her rent went to $1,971 in 45 days. That's impossible. It will put a stop to all these private equity companies that will come into Florida, buy those properties, and drive the cost up. Food pricing, I will go after those food corporations, Nestle, Tyson, Pepsi, and will take them to circuit court to force them to address the issue and lower food pricing. I will protect the environment. I will get the funding for Black farmers. I will fight for marijuana licensing, our water, our agriculture, our citrus problem. I will pursue and develop the CUPS program, which is citrus under protection okay, where the oranges and citrus are grown under an environment, under a little house. So they don't get the citrus growing disease. So Florida can take its rightful place as #1 producer of orange and citrus. I will fight for it all. And in terms of gun, the violence that is happening in our state must stop, must end, because too many people, too many young people are losing their lives. I will institute a committee that will bring forth a licensing requirement for insurance, gun liability insurance, that will eliminate a lot of people who should not be having guns. Don't get distracted by all the other issues that the Republicans are throwing your way. This election is about your livelihood. This election is about your lives. Can you afford to fix your air conditioning or your car? Most of us, the answer is no. I'm going to turn around and say the same thing in Creole. Mesdames et messieurs, m'apprécie tout le monde qui là, captant des voix. Moi, m'a demandé support, m'a demandé pour voter pour moi le 23 août. Jean-Michel Pierre dit, early voting commencé le 8 jusqu'au 21. Si nous recevons ballot nous par mail, choisi non moins. Deuxième non, en bas commissionnaire agriculture, J.R. Gaillot voté pour moi. Nous pas gain cob. L'argent, loyer trop cher en Floride, prix manger trop cher, prix gaz trop cher. Moi, ka al goumen pour nous, faut nous changer bagay yo. Surtout, gen l'autre moun là qui candidat, yo pas connait comment job l'en face avancer, yo pas connait ça y a fait, yo pas gen plan. Soit sur site internet là ou après plan direct. Comme John était montré nous, ou ka traduit plan en créole sur site internet là. Ou gen numéro de téléphone, moi, m'a baoul encore 904 631 47 37. Ou même pas le créole, ou ka relève directement moi une question. So ka fait pour moi, bon mon dollar, bon $5, bon $10 sont capable. Relè moun, zanmi ou famille ou, di yo, si c'est démocrate yo pour voter pour moi parce que faut nous changer. Parce que comme c'est haïtien moi tant pour nous, moi obligé faire bagay yo gens pour pas faire nous honte. Ça m'a promettre nous, les nous mettez dans pouvoir moi pas faire haïtien honte. M'a fait nous fiers que nous mettons là en position. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll circle back in English. This is about your wallet. This is about your money. Life is too hard. Life is too expensive. I've talked to you about all the things I'm going to do. Go to my website, jrgaio.com. Hit that donate button because campaigning is expensive. I need your help. I need your support. And I need you to tell your friends. One of the things you can do for me is invite friends and family at home. Call me up. Email me right from the website. I will come down to your house. I will meet with you. Okay? Fais association, les amis, les familles, mettez 5 moun, 10 moun nan kayou, m'a vin wè ou, m'a vin visite ou, m'a vin pala avon. We need to change this. I appreciate your help, your support. M'a besoin aide, votez pour moi. Le 23 août, J.R. Gaillot pour commissionnaire agriculture and consumer protection. Vote for me. I hope that I earned your vote and ask for your vote and your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, JR. Well, everybody, thank you very much. Mike, listen, you have to talk to your candidate. You can talk to them in Creole and in English. Because the reality, Mike, you have your finger on the pulse of this community. You've been fighting for so long, and I think any candidate who come to our platform should listen maybe to what you got to say, because you're not somebody who wake up yesterday and have an organization, a nonprofit to help our community. So you are well connected. You know the issues. You know what the problems are. So go ahead, talk to them. Hi, Mike.
Thank you again, Johnny. Merci tout candidat. Thank you to all candidates who's here tonight, especially J.R. Gaillot. I thank you for your time. And Miss Heather, I thank you. Miss Pierre, I thank you for your time for tonight. And Guy, I really appreciate your time. I know you don't have no time, but you Even though you're on your way, you have to park somewhere to be in your car to make sure you answer to that call tonight. And thank you for that. And one thing I will ask everyone who's listening tonight, please, you got to vote. You got to vote for J.R. Gagnon as your Commissioner of Agriculture. And in the meantime, I'm asking you to vote for all the representatives because without the representative, he cannot serve you the way he tells you he's going to serve you. Representative matters. We need all the state representatives, the Senate representatives, the commissioners, the mayors, the judge, Democrat. Please vote Democrat representative to go to Tallahassee to help our commissioner of agriculture. We need that. Without our state representative, we going to be, you're going to say he do not have integrity. But it's not, he doesn't have integrity. He have integrity, but you need to do your job. You need to vote. Vote for him and vote for all the candidates, state senate, representative, state representative. Vote for them. We need them in Tallahassee to make sure we can give them the power to serve you the best way you deserve to be served. I'm not going to stay long. I'm going to pass it to you. And only thing I will say, and once again, I am Mike Eleonard, the president of that organization, Get Up, Stand Up for Haiti. Get Up, Stand Up for Haiti have a plan to build that Haitian community and the diaspora. We need to build that community. With that community, we will have representative. Today, if we have that community, believe me, all our candidates will look very strong today. But this is a beginning. We asking everyone to get involved to make sure we participate in that election. Election is matter, and voting is your right. I'm asking everyone to vote, especially the state representative, the Senate representative, all the Democrat representative, especially for our Commissioner Agriculture, J.R. Gayo. Thank you very much. I pass the mic to you, John.
Thank you, Mike. I mean, Mike don't shy away from it. You can clearly say Mike endorsed JR.
Yes.
So I'm hoping your organization can get together with the candidates all here today. Maybe you guys, I don't know what process you guys do. If you screen them, and maybe you'll be able to endorse them too, because it's a powerful organization, and I think you should talk to them as well and see if you can give them an endorsement as well.
Of course, I have no problem, and as long as I can reach to them.
All right. Listen, the information is there. I got the info. I'll send it to them. I'm sure they're gonna contact me and say, "What's Mike information?"
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being on our platform. I mean, you could have been anywhere this afternoon, but you choose to be here. That is the testament of the amount of sacrifice you're willing to do. I am not CNN. I am not Fox News. I'm not ABC. I'm not Telemundo. I am basically somebody you didn't even know. But I call and you answer. And then this is the type of, I think, representation that our community is looking for. People who's willing to sacrifice, to do things, to come to a platform that they don't know about, but to still lay out the information and provide that information and that support to our community. I appreciate your time. I thank you for being here. Our viewers, I appreciate your time. The people who's going to view this live after, I appreciate your time. We repurpose the live. We cut it little pieces by little pieces, and we post it everywhere. And hopefully, every time I post it, you guys will see it and you'll have the link. And hopefully people will continue to support your campaign and continue to support what you represent. Me personally, one thing I'm asking is to stay true to yourself. Please protect
That's it.
our community, protect our people, do what's best, do what's right. And when I'm talking about do what's right even when the cameras are off.
Exactly.
We do not have the leverage nor the time to fight against things who's not appropriate, against issues who's not concerned. People will use those issues to distract you so you won't have time to take care of people. So I'm asking you to be not only a representative, not only a commissioner, not only somebody who's going for a public office, but be an upright citizen. So when we, the voters, go and vote for you, so we can go with a pride and an honor and say, I voted for the right person. Thank you for being
Amen.
here. I appreciate your time. Please stay in the green room. Don't go because I'm going to end the live. So at least I get the chance to say good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching. And thank you for all of you who's going to watch this video after.